are prepared for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And all that life was better to feel in
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Release the princess or prepare for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And all that life was better to feel in
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Release the princess or prepare for wizardly combat.
I want to show you a trick Mother showed me when you weren't around.
And all that life was better to feel in
Welcome to Spellburn, a podcast covering the Dungeon Crawl Classics role-playing game and old-school adventuring. It's time to party like it's 1974.
Some say DCC RPG, that is Dungeon Crawl Classics, is just for one-shots. Some say it's a great campaign game. Some say it's a great con game. Some say it's perfect for the home table. Some say the world will end in fire. Some say in ice. One thing you don't hear a lot about is high-level adventures in Dungeon Crawl Classics. Why not? And let's make some, and let's talk about some. I'm Judge Julian, and with me tonight is a partner in crime on the 10th Doomstar, a 10th level adventure for Dungeon Crawl Classics that is just finishing its crowdfunding right now. It's got 1 hour left, which means it'll be done when we're done with this show, assuming we're not all hit by a meteor before then, which you never know. That'd be a big meteor. But anyway, we'll talk about that and about other adventures that push DCC to its limits, as well as how you might enjoy running and playing your own high-level DCC adventures. I'm Judge Julian, and with me tonight, I've got the current cast of Judges J, Judge Jen.
Good evening, everyone.
And Judge James.
Hola.
And tonight's guest, sort of the good mirror image of that evil varlet grape ape, our own Judge Stefan.
Thank you. And I'm not a J, but I am the father of a J. So, I did my best to, join the team, as it were. I didn't know I was doing it at the time, but yeah. Oh, no, that's okay.
Well, sometime in the year, 20, I'm trying to do math. It's a little late, but sometime during the year, like 2040 something, Judge J, he'll probably inherit the Judge J mantle and
Yeah.
be doing,
We play a little D&D, me and him. He chooses whatever dice he wants, and it's a good time.
yeah. That's a good age. That's a good age. You can kind of have your way with your parents at that age. That's good. All right. Stefan, thanks for being here. We're going to head on over to the tavern. All right, pull up a stool to the bar, pour yourself a drink. There's a guy on the floor mumbling about the Temple of the Blind Sultan, but we're gonna kind of pretend we don't see him. And
Horrible.
Judge Stefan, that's just a joke because our notes reference some of our stuff for Bob from our last episode. Judge Bob was here with us and had a great episode. But anyway, Judge Stefan, tell us what's up in your world.
Well, 10th Doomstar, been busy with that, of course. And I also ran a playtest like 8 hours ago. I ran a playtest for a funnel adventure, and it went great. The players awoke in a dungeon, or well, their characters awoke in a dungeon. And one of them was being cleaned by a evil wizard who had one arm was just like 100 tongues, basically, and he was getting cleaned. So that was a great visceral way to start
Was he
session.
being cleaned by the appendage of a
Yeah.
thousand tongues?
It was just going over them, as the guy was intent focusing. You get some people could identify. People know what a tongue feels like more than they know what a sword through the gut is. So you get that nice reaction.
Did you maintain really solid eye contact with that?
No. No.
You should. You got to lean into that kind of stuff.
Should've.
Yeah.
Isn't don't you think David Beatty, the ultimate cat foster dad, don't you think for him that's just like Wednesday?
Yeah.
Then he wakes up covered in cats and they're all just licking him awake. And okay, anyway. Well, that sounds pretty fun. Good for you. How did the playtest go?
It went good. About half the funnel PCs died, which is a good amount. A good amount.
Yep. Very, very formidable. What else? Yeah, there's an X-Crawl adventure in this crowdfunding thing for the 10th Doomstar, right?
Indeed, there is. I ran that a few times. So yeah, a little X-Crawl funnel, X-Crawl at the mall, and your PCs help inaugurate the holiday shopping season, which in X-Crawl there's no Christmas or even Xmas. Xmas might pass, but you have Saturnalia. We got to keep in with the Roman theme, and there's still gift giving in Saturnalia. So
sounds very good. I like the Roman holiday theme in New Year's Evil. That's a terrific adventure.
Indeed.
I was just thinking today about a really good con adventure that I could run. That is probably the one I was trying to think of. Anyway, that's a really fun adventure, especially because it's about how things can go wrong behind the scenes in an X-Crawl game. And it was great, really fun. So highly recommended. I think it's the second level X-Crawl.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys still doing Raw? This is your big chance to plug Raw here on.
We should be back in about a month. Holidays and then just busyness, and then it was like, oh, we're gonna come back. Oh, I need this change. Then, Robertson went. Oh well, right after that's gonna be Gary Con. So let's just it keeps on getting pushed back a little bit because scheduling. But hey, that's the life like in tabletop role playing games, scheduling banes.
He has to reread the rule book each time before each episode.
Yeah, the memory's not so good anymore.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
can't even remember chewed up foods in his mouth, like where it came from.
That's what the beard is for in his case.
Oh yeah.
Well, you're a good man.
We love you, Matt.
You're a good man for shepherd. Yes, we love you, Matt. Stefan, you're a good man for shepherding him along. Thank you. Thank you. Judge Jen, how are you doing?
I am probably 1,000 times better than I was at this time last month. It's amazing what having a good crew can do for my sanity and, I don't know, getting sleep. Not putting in 70 hours a week is fantastic, and I could cry for joy. I am actually looking forward to Gamma, the Gaming and Manufacturing Association trade show next week in Louisville. And that's probably the biggest trade show that we have because it is all of the distributors and you get all of the retailers. And it's not just one that's dedicated to one of those distributors along the line. So we start out the year with this one, and looking forward to it because I get to deal with a lot of the this is going to sound gnarly, but I get to deal with the corporate side that I don't normally see, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hi, you're the person ordering 5 pallets of stuff every month. Great to put a face to the name, that sort of thing. And I think it's the only chance I get this year to meet with our partners from the UK, which it's kind of like old home week. So we'll have some of that. And then we've had some massive changes in the warehouse, and I should say developments and things that I'm really excited for people to be able to see. I don't know, there might be some videographic evidence coming up in the near future. We've had a stellar start to our first fulfillment of the year, and we're already gearing up for things like Dungeon Con. So it's yeah. And actually today, somebody started their very first day after relocating from Florida and joined us at the Fort Wayne location. So we're super happy about that.
Is that anybody we know?
It could be a Judge Talia. Yeah. Roadworthy judge.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
She ran some games at DemoCon recently, I do believe.
Yep.
Good. Keeping it in the family.
She's part of the fantastic crew that is actually allowing me to regain some sanity. So
that's a different game mechanic, not Dungeon Crawl Classics. So.
Right.
I mean, it's tangential with Weird Frontiers, right?
Yeah, okay, that's true. And there's a lot of Lovecraft in Appendix N. Okay, I'll permit it. Yes.
I mean, yeah. I'm sorry, I don't yet have the brain cells to formulate Bernickian / Vancian speak. So.
Bernickian. Oh no! What would yuck! I don't want to go there.
Your response tickles me. Sorry.
Well, very nice, Judge Den. Anything else?
I'm good for now.
All right. Here, Judge James, I'm sliding the picture right on over to you.
All right. Oh man, I was just this past weekend at Total Con 40 in Massachusetts.
Nice.
And that was super exciting. So I got to see a lot of East Coast people. I got to see my main man, Joey Royale, and I got to see Wolf Manzella. And I even stopped by. Brian Shutter wasn't at the con, but I actually drove out to Massachusetts. So I visited with Brian earlier before I got to the con, and got to say hi, and we sat down and had a meal, he and his family and I. It was awesome. And in between the con and Brian was I'm doing something new. I was at Fitchburg State University, and I gave a talk about kind of net crawl and RPGs in general to a bunch of kids who are studying game design at the media communications department at Fitchburg State University. So that was like an hour and a half. Kind of gave them a quick little it's Netcrawl and Die 20 and DCC, and then this is what Netcrawl's got going on. I got a poster. They made posters for me. They put them everywhere. you can't see this on the podcast, but there I am, Fitchburg State playbill
pretty
or
cool.
whatever. So those were like all over the university when I got there. They did a fantastic job. Childhood, a school childhood high school friend is the director of the program, so it's kind of fun to see him and do this talk. So that was like this amazing kind of thing in the middle. But the craziest, the best, awesomest thing that happened is I won an award for Netcrawl Arcologies. Golden Fez. This is the second annual award. It's a memorial for James Carpio, who, as we know, passed a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And so they've been Solarian Games. He was a co-founder of Solarian Games. They do Top Secret, New World Order. That's the game that their biggest game. And James was involved in the recreation of that game, along with the other fine fellows at Solarian. They put on the award and the submission, open submission, and then judged and all that stuff. And Arcologies won for best new game mechanic.
That's pretty cool. So you, in a way, before we even get into brackets, you've actually won your own bracket this year.
I won a bracket all by myself.
That's pretty cool.
So is your golden fez in the mail? You're going to wear it next time, right?
I'm not sure they do actual fezes. Maybe I have to supply my own. Maybe in the future they'll have golden fezes, but I do have this awesome little plaque or kind of award certificate, which looks
They should give you a fez-shaped medallion.
Yeah. Last year they had plaques. I was looking at the show from last year, and they had these little kind of wooden plaques with a golden, metal front on them or whatever. But this is nice too. It looks very fancy. I'm very proud and honored to have been recognized by my peers. So that's awesome. Oh, that was just my one weekend.
Woo.
That's nuts. Or like 1 week as a whole week. I was out in Massachusetts and New England for a week. So boy, am I tired. But hey, March Madness, if we're still doing this, there's only been like 10 entries for nominations.
Interesting.
Either our audience is super small and nobody cares, or just nobody cares, or I don't know what, but like 10 people have gotten off their duffs to fill in the form, the Google form. So I don't know what we're going to do in order to get to March Madness.
I think we got to drop this on the socials and stuff and hit it a lot harder.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, just it's a everybody's got to be doing it. We need probably Goodman on this too, really, to get that kind of attention.
Yeah, well, I can sacrifice something on the altar and summon the Dark Master, and we can figure that out. But yeah, we also should blanket the blue skis and the face butts and the Insta prints and all that stuff.
Yeah, in theory, nominations ended like Sunday. And so it would give me normally a week to kind of put together brackets. And I just don't know what I'm going to do here.
No, you're just going to have to be under the gun and work, as we used to say, work harder, not smarter, James.
Yeah, of course. That's what we always do. Maybe we just cancel it. We could cancel it.
Maybe you just rig it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, all we have to do is roll dice for it, right?
I mean, pretty
all
much.
we need is the lineup for the starting brackets.
I mean, it could be I mean, we just need a couple. How many do you need to get a bracket? 16?
No, well, there's two sides. So there's right on each side. So you need 32 on each. You need a minimum of 64, or unless you're just doing a single bracket.
Yeah.
Then it would be,
you could do
then it would be
8 on each side.
32. Oh, so we're not doing March Madness is what you're saying.
Well, we could just fill them. We don't have to do anyway. We can figure this out. As you can see, this is it's still a work in progress, but we are going to blanket the socials. By the time you hear this in a few days, if you're listening to the podcast,
probably too late.
Well, we'll be blanketing the socials and getting people's votes.
The sass is strong. Of course it is. All right, so that is not just that's enough for me. I'm already well drunk at this point. It being the tavern. What about you, Julian? What's going on?
Well, I've been very busy. Was at Con of the North this last weekend. Ran Infernal Crucible of Sezercon, which was pretty fun. Almost squeezed it into 2 hours. We had to rush it a little at the end, but did manage it more or less in 2 hours. Also ran a funnel game, a brand new funnel game that next morning, and had a good time with that. It's a weird one, but people have been really enjoying it. I had somebody else play test that just a couple nights ago, and that went off pretty well. And also had some fun playing Carcosa and running a first game of Hell Night ever, which is a very weird, like campy horror on motorcycles, like 80s movie sort of vibe thing. That was pretty fun. So I really enjoyed running that, and we had a good convention. Been gearing up for GaryCon, where I'm running my DCC Pulp Heroes and Casement of Xantho Funnel, and then getting ready for North Texas, where I am running for the first time ever I'm running Weird Frontiers for the first time, and I'm running a new Weird Frontiers adventure play test. So that should be very odd and strange, but here we go. That'll be very fun. I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to run anything else on the books. And I was very excited to actually reach 3rd level in our campaign that Daniel J. Bishop is running online on Discord, the Chantopal campaign. My warrior with no strength bonus and the -1 on his stamina actually made it to 3rd level. Wow. And he is, I don't know how much longer he is for the world, but we've been having fun. So that's been a really great adventure. And
does he have a name, this warrior?
Jan Solar. He's a warrior with an 18 personality. So I sort of modeled him off a famous fictional character of film. You can think about it if you like. So yeah, he is he's getting to that place where all his bad stats are overshadowed by having a D5 deed die. So that's a good thing. Yeah. And then I also got a note today from DJ Foxy. We are, well, not we, because I'm not going to be there, but they're having at Game Quest on May 1st. Is this around the time of Dungeon Con?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I know this is very early, but they were telling me, I was just hearing all this stuff about it today. So anyway, it's Molon's Dungeon Drag Denizens Pizza Party on May 1st at Game Quest, which is in Fort Wayne, which I had to, apparently a lot of stores named Game Quest. I don't know if it's a chain or what, but anyway, they are.
It's one of the oldest hobby stores in Fort Wayne.
Yeah. Well, there you go. So nice people. There's DCC games during the day, there's pizza, there's a drag show, and I heard that Burger Wars, my old American adventure, is going to get run, and that just cracks me up because that's pretty silly. That's a very funny and fun campy adventure, so I think that'll go with the vibe of just all out having a fun time. So anyway, that's 9 p.m. on May 1st. I'm sure we'll have some reminders. And that's it for me. We have a metric ton of crowd burn. So with no further ado, we're going to head over there. All right. First thing up, the 10th Doomstar is finishing in about 38 minutes or so from Dragon Peak Publishing from some guy named Stefan. Written by me with a lot of help, development and editorial help from Stefan, I should say. So thank you very much.
You're easy to work with. The rumors were not true.
Yeah, it's
I don't believe it for a minute.
Yeah. No.
It all depends who you listen to, but yes, thank you. It is the first traditional 10th level adventure for DCC, where the greatest heroes of the age must stop a comet from irradiating the entire world in chaos. And in doing so, they have a chance to set the alignment for the next 999 years. So I think there's a lot of interesting choices you can make. There's also a lot of stretch goals achieved, a judge's patch, 6 stickers, X-Crawl Mall. There's a new X-Crawl adventure called the X-Crawl Mall, and possibly a 6th level spell if we get to that very last stretch goal.
Oof.
So that's that is yet to be decided, but been a great run. Thanks, Stefan. This has been a lot of fun. We're going to talk about the process of it more, but we're done harping on that for the moment. I'll take the next one just because I'm super excited. I saw a bunch of stuff about this. This is like a 73 room dungeon called the Mouth of Mencius. That's ancient Roman style. And they're doing it for OSE, 5e, and DCC. So it's out there for us. And they call it a cross between Caverns of Thracia and Barsoom. And this is ending pretty quick. It's already funded. It's ending on February 27th. But I just looked at some of the art and some of the stuff on their site. I thought it looked super cool, and I would just highly recommend people to check it out.
So it's $11 for the print copy. That it's absurdly cheap in my opinion.
I think it might be a digest size, but still, that's a ton of content.
I saw it saying it's going to be 20 after this. So if you want to get it, that's a almost 50% discount.
Exactly. And that's from Witch Please. So hopefully you hear this before it ends. If you're on the podcast, they might have late whatever you call that, after hours, extended fundraising, and then or they might have a quick thing where you can pre-order it after the thing closes. But I would say, hey, make a note and look at it. Who wants to take the next one? How about an Alpha Order? James.
Oh, that's true. Alpha Order. Discovery of the Doom Weaver. First module in a series of 7 that can be played in 1 or to 2 sessions each. Players will have to gather 6 ancient blades and then destroy them or use them to summon forth the Chaos Lord that created them in a time long forgotten. It ends on March 7th. Who's putting this out? It doesn't say.
Yeah,
it's Death Guaranteed Games.
Death Guaranteed Games.
Yeah, Judge Crow.
Oh, right. Yes.
Oh, gotcha.
Very good. Jen, do you want to take the next one?
Sure. I am not familiar with Twilight Grotto. Stefan, do you know who that one is?
I don't know this one. This
Isn't
one's new to me.
The OSE thing?
There's an OSC adventure with Grotto in it, but I think
maybe it's not Twilight.
Unrelated.
No, it's not Twilight. But it's called A Perilous House. 2 0-level funnels for DCC plus Shadow Dark. And the adventures are Sisterhood of the Splintered Bone. I just love that title. And This Rose Will Never Die. Looks like they're doing it for both Shadow Dark and DCC. And in a nutshell, we've got two funnels in a gothic romance / space fantasy inspired by The Locked Tomb, Clark Ashton Smith, and Arthuriana. And yeah, right. And this ends on March 18th.
There's a lot going on there. When I looked at that crowdfunding page, I was like, as I saw Gothic romance space fantasy, I thought, oh, that almost sounds like the Gideon the Ninth type book, and that indeed they referenced that. So if you know that book by Tamsin Muir, I'm not sure how to say her name. I think that's the reference for the vibe you're supposed to get from that genre. But anyway, gothic romance / space fantasy. I mean, it makes me pretty curious. So go check it out. All these links will be in the show notes. Judge Stefan, do you want to take Return to Crater Valley?
For sure, yeah. Folks may know Blackout in Crater Valley by Zog. Zog also did one of the Road Crew or adventures a couple years ago.
Yeah.
So
He's done a couple for DCC.
Yeah.
Zog knows his DCC, but yeah, if you want some 80s vibes here, it's launched, it's almost funded, and it's got 10 days to go. So I think it'll make it, but it could use a little help. So go check it out if you want some like 80s slasher movie, weird cult in your town kind of a DCC adventure.
He was just on Joey Royale's Pizza Party.
That's true. Talked about it over there, so you can get the inside scoop.
Yeah.
Very good. James, do you want to take the next guy here?
Yes, I will. The League of the Dark Few, this DCC and Shadow Dark Zine series is designed to help GMs run a city-based campaign from the perspective of a group of up-and-coming guild members. Sounds good. Players start as hopeful initiates and gain reputation and influence by completing lucrative contracts. But first, they must survive the initiation night. That is ending this week on February 27th.
I think this is the one, and I just love this idea so much. I'm going to just completely blatantly steal this, except I'm too lazy to do it. But I would blatantly steal this. Their characters get tattoos if they survive their initiation thing, and they do fake tattoos in the product, so you can get your character's Thieves Guild temporary tattoo with the thing, which I just thought that was hella clever. Like, why don't I think of smart stuff like that? Because I'm not smart. That's the reason why. Okay, I'll take the next one. The next two, I should say. We'll hit these fast because they're sort of tangential, but hey, Swords Against Fiction magazine for sword and sorcery and fantasy, spearheaded. Do you see what I did there? By Paul Wolf.
Like a bladed weapon reference?
Yes, and Mr. Paul Wolf of Mystic Bowl Games. He is doing a fiction magazine, and I have a Vancian short story. That's just to say it's in the style and spirit of Vance. That is.
Bernikian.
Bernincian. And
Peninsula.
And then also I have a story forthcoming in the same vein in New Edge Sword and Sorcery that Oliver Brackenberry is doing, and he's got a backer kit going for his next 3 issues, including a whole issue of time-worn Terra stories, which is kind of your Dying Earth / Gene Wolfe / Clark Ashton Smith type small d, small e Dying Earth genre thing, if you will. And Oliver is just terrific, got the coolest art, all sorts of great stuff. Paul and I and Charlie Scott have been working with him on Swords Against, and it's awesome. And we're doing an ace double zine that's actually going to have like one story right side up and then flip and do the other story reading the other way. So they've been working on putting that together as a stretch goal, and there's all kinds of add-ons and stretch goals. And there's a Schultes comic in the Swords Against one. There's unbelievable cool stuff. So obviously we will have these out there in the show notes. They should be running into March, but check them both out and please do. Who's next? I think it is Jen.
Okay. Coming soon, we have Seekers of OV, The Other Worlds, which is a 3rd level adventure from Owl Knight. Those of you who know Thorin Thompson know that this is definitely in the vein of his other adventures. And this one will launch March 10th. So follow the page for more info.
You got it. Yeah. All these guys are stuff that's not yet launched, but you can go, I believe all of these, you can go out and follow them.
Can I hit the next one too? Because I'm really excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it like you are for the one that you're part of.
Yeah.
I'm not part of this one, but I had to actually just follow it. It is the Crawl magazine. For any of you who remember the olden days of DCC RPG, Crawl Zine was the first zine on the DCC zine scene, and Reverend Dak himself. This will be a comic book sized or graphic novel sized collection of some of the first zines in that series. There is, of course, a 20% discount for early backers. There could be a new Doug Kovacs cover, and it will launch in just over 3 days. So I'm going to estimate February 27th.
You better back Dak. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Indeed, it's super exciting to see Crawl magazine in there. It's so much good stuff. We've talked about a lot of that content before. The Arwich Grinder, I don't know if that's going to be covered in this first magazine, but that was published in Crawl. I mean, it's just
chef's kiss,
seminal stuff. So for sure, if you don't own those, and probably even if you do, because if you do, I'm sure the new format and everything is going to put all this new extra stuff in there. It'll kick butt. So
I still use issue number 2 at the table.
Indeed, right? Hey, it's not on the list, but we should give a happy welcome to Goodman Games' own Dragon Riders primer.
Thank you. I was going to add that.
Yes, it's launching tomorrow, I believe.
Yep.
And that it's a 5e product, but there's 2 covers. One of them is a Doug Kovacs cover, which is pretty cool. And it's all about riding dragons and other kinds of flying mounts. It has rules for aerial combat. It has, special mounts, and then all the 5e stuff, feats and backgrounds and subclasses and all that cool stuff. And I would say, I know a lot of old schoolers who play 5e with younger people, especially their kids or whatever, or at the game shop. But man, if I was a kid, can you imagine having your own dragon mount or wasp mount or whatever, bat mount or whatever? It would be the coolest.
And there's going to be the cardboard pawns for both your mounts and the characters, the riders themselves, as well as a 3-foot square battle mat, aerial battle mat.
It's cool. It's got a lot of cool stuff in it. So we'll throw that in there anyway. I know it's 5e. Don't drag me over the coals, guys. Come on. And then April, it's coming up hot and fast on us, and we've got Castle White Rock and another related 7 or 8 projects minimum that are tied into that at least, that Jen's gonna have to fulfill probably for the rest of her life. So did I say that out loud? Okay. But it's gonna be fun. Castle White Rock, as we've said many times, is literally a mountain of it's one of the biggest mega dungeons of all time, and we made it much bigger. So it's gonna be a real milestone for DCC and 5e when that finally hits the road here. So any last hits, guys, before we go to emails?
Oh my gosh, my wallet is weeping right now. I think we should move on.
All right, fair enough. We got a few brief emails, and then we're going straight into Mighty Deeds. But first, email time. Here we are with emails. Now, I'll ask James to handle the first one. In our last episode, we asked the question, since there was a small kerfluffle about a Questing Beast video about DCC format, which he was not enthralled with. And anyway, I said, hey, should we get Jeff Goad had pinged me. I'd pinged him, and then he pinged me back and said, hey, I would do a show about the Questing Beast thing. So I asked listeners, do you want to have Goad on to talk about Questing Beast? And we got 2 emails. So why don't you read the first one, James?
Do you want me to read both? I mean,
yeah, go ahead, read both.
All right.
But you have to use 2 different voices.
No, I decline.
Oh.
All right, maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Robert Coleman writes us on this topic. He says, yes, please do get Jeff back on the pod. He says pod, not podcast. It's like the pod. Hey man, get him back on the pod to speak his piece on the Questing Beast thing about DCC. Good luck though. I know he's a busy man these days. Keep on spell burning. See, I did do a voice.
He went full beatnik in the middle of the letter.
Yeah, that's because
which is a little strange.
Yeah, because of the pod. That's like
Okay, and the
said
pod,
it right
okay.
off. It's, like,
It's a great.
of course.
It's
Keep
an
switching it up mid sentence, each sentence.
underrated Ween album. I'll say that. Okay.
All right, and then we got another email from Andre. Does it say it? Anyway, it says Goodman Games Spellburn team. That's us officially. On your January 19th post MLK Day stream, that is what we named it too. You mentioned the Questing Beast, and Andre says, instead, I'd rather see you all put your best front foot forward. Best front forward. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like mixed metaphors. Instead of even giving the beast its medicine or a taste of it, I'd recommend showcasing your authors, their works, the work put in with conferences and more that you all that all the good you all do. And I guess that follows with an automatic thank you for all we do.
All right, so there you have it. We got one yes vote and one no vote, so it was not a resounding much in either direction, and I guess that's a wash. So eventually we'll have Mr. Goad join us again for the show, but probably not on that topic.
I do like Andre's kind of comments here about just kind of like, do something else. Just say, not a defense of the style per se, but just highlight why it's different.
Yeah.
And why it's the way it
conversation.
Is. Yeah.
Yeah. So my pal Matthew Serrois, who is a world traveler and a very interesting cat. But anyway, saved our bacon at last. This stumped even the eminent Professor Bishop. This question of, can you add your mighty deed to a strength check? And where did I get such a silly idea? Anyway, so Mathieu has bailed us out. He writes, hello, I hope you're doing well. In one of the latest episodes, you were wondering where adding the deed die to strength checks came from. Well, I stumbled upon one, Colossus Arise, area 2-6. Forcing oneself...
Oh, Harley.
Right? Well, I knew it was a Harley one, because anyway...
Yep.
So he gives us chapter and verse. He says, forcing oneself through the ooze is no mean feat, requiring a DC 20 strength check. Warriors may add their deed dice to the check. That's the quote. Now, it's very funny that he's so anti-dwarf that he doesn't allow dwarves to do that, which I don't know about. It's an interesting. Anyway, he says, by the way, what an epic adventure. I can mostly see it played as a convention one-shot with experienced players. Have any of you tried it this way? Tips or recommendations? Keep on spell burning, Judge Mathieu. So, man, thanks so much. It was driving me nuts. The best part of this is I went through this adventure several times, and we'll talk about it in our Mighty Deeds in just a moment. And I still couldn't see that in the adventure because there's a lot of strength checks and there's a lot of portcullises and other things. And I just couldn't actually find it, even though I read those things and everything else. So anyway, but the mystery is solved. Judge Mathieu is getting the amulet of Cezricon. You'll be getting that hand delivered by Matthew Robertson soon. So thanks, Matt. And that's pretty much it. So let's go on.
Matt has those particular.
Yes.
Okay.
The amulet of the Mighty Order of Cezricon.
Yeah. Well, one of the pieces, it was broken into 7 because the power was too much.
It's made out of it's diamond encrusted platinum, and Matt will be delivering it soon.
Wow. He said it was worth all his retirement to have it forged.
If reforged,
his wife is really pleased.
Yeah.
If reforged,
she will be when she finds out.
If reforged, the Lombardi trophy will. Okay, never mind. So, we're going to talk about high level games. So we'll see you over in Mighty Deeds. All right, here we are. High level play. What the heck is it? I'm going to suggest that the official definition is DCC adventurers of 6th level or higher. And that gets us into rarefied space pretty fast. I've got a list of them here we're going to read. Before we go on to that list, Judge Jen, Judge James, Judge Stefan, do you guys do you agree with my definition? Do you have anything to add or twist or anything else?
I agree that level 6 is when it's DCC starts feeling a bit different. So I think it counts, even though it's probably still technically, I mean, just from the range, it's mid-level. I'd still count it in the category.
But if it's a 20 level system, these are like people that are above 12th level.
If we're talking about 10th level being the pinnacle, even 5th level seems pretty high in most gameplay, but you have the downside of like the thief and the halfling. Certain classes still only get a single action per round, so there's a little bit of that seems to be lacking at the table unless you bump them up to 6th level and let them also benefit from getting that extra roll of the dice.
Yeah, that's right. Like the cleric doesn't get it until 6th, and
that's right. I know the thief gets kind of hijacked on that one.
Not till 6th.
Mm-hmm.
They're not totally the same. And then the dwarf, of course, when he gets his other action, he's also still got his shield bash, right? So, or I should
3
say,
actions or whatever.
Yeah, which gives him a third action essentially.
Yeah, a third attack anyway.
Because that first die is a die 14.
Yeah. So so that's and then by then he's also got like whatever that is, like a D billion for his D die. So that D14 problem is pretty much gone by then,
Man, you should see how that thing rolls.
Oh God, it's like it's a crazy supercomputer. Anyway, our list of adventures, and it'd be interesting if people want to, dispute our list, or probably more likely add to our list, because there might be some that we've missed.
Yes, please do add.
You please add, by all means. If we missed anything, I'd love to hear about them. So number 1, and the first one of these published, of course, is Colossus Arise from the early days of DCC. I think it was by far the highest, and probably the highest level other than this was 5th at the time.
I mean, it's still the highest official one until White Rock, comes out and goes all the way to 10.
Yeah. And then the like Imprisoned in the God Skull was a fair amount later, and Sinister Sutures was a fair amount later. Yeah.
Yeah. Imprisoned is 6th. Sinister is 6th. There's a handful of 5th, but again, we've knocked those off the ledge.
Yeah. So I don't think there's anything higher than 5th for quite some time. So we'll talk about Colossus Arise. It's a fun adventure and kind of well, anyway, we'll talk about it in some detail. Imprisoned in the God Skull by Mr. Curtis, 6th level. Layers of Lost Agarda is sort of classed on the wiki page as 6th level, but I'm going to remove that guy because it's more of a sandbox city setting, which is cool. It's actually really interesting, but it can be fun. And Agarda and the Journey to Center of Aerith is sort of 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th level setting. So in a way that sort of qualifies, but a little tangential. Sky Masters of the Purple Planet is represented. Conclave, 998th Conclave of the Wizards, 6th level. Sinister Sutures of the Seamstress.
Love that one.
I haven't read it, and I've never played it or run it. It must be pretty challenging to do a horror game to 6th level DCC.
It is fantastic.
It's very, and it's of these, I think it's the easiest to run. It's essentially, I mean, it's not in a dungeon. It's kind of in a spooky mansion. It's more than just that, but so it's confined for what what kind of area that the players are operating in, more so than any of the others. So it's the easiest to run if you just want to do a one shot that's high level.
And
it's a
they could go ahead and break it. but it's still going to be challenging for them. They can try to break it, I should say.
Did they get nerfed like in a lot of horror games where there's a little more nerfing sort of approval, if you know what I mean?
There's a very the villain of the adventure has a way to watch them while they're doing things, and so the villain can be quite prepared. And also, there's just like a really nasty fight set up at the end.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I don't have a physical copy of this, and I was not able to reread it for this show, but I'm very curious. I know I've glanced through it a few times, so more
Julian,
to come on that.
you know how much I love Lankmar, and the chain coffin and everything. I still think this is one of Michael Curtis's finest.
Wow. Okay. High praise. High praise. Mike against Mike. Well, we might have a Mike against Mike in the final brackets soon enough. So we'll see. I know who Jen's vote will be for. So, moving down the list, we got Crypt of the Devil Lich, which is a giant, very challenging, I think, kind of traditional crawl, and that's at 7th level, and that is a tough one. Kind of a mega dungeon. Would we call it a mega dungeon, Judge Jen? It's
I don't
pretty
know if I'd
big.
call that one a mega dungeon so much as a full campaign or
Okay.
a nice campaign chapter.
Yeah,
a big meaty phase of your
Mhm.
campaign.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Well, I think a mega dungeon might that's probably a definition for a different show. Fair enough. Dark Tower, 5th through 7th.
That might fit in the same category as Lost to Garda.
Okay, fair enough. And of course, that'd be the conversion of the old AD&D adventure by Janelle JK's, and which is awesome, and also available for both DCC and 5e, right?
Yep.
And then now Stefan and I got in a little. I mean, I wouldn't say trouble because it wasn't trouble, but Sean Richer of Stratusfiend fame did poke us a little gently and amusedly when we were talking about being the only 10th level adventure, because he said, "What about Smuggler's Pass?" And we are like, okay, I kind of know that one, but it doesn't really advertise as a 10th level adventure. He doesn't put that on the cover. So I had to familiarize myself with this thing. So this is kind of in his Dungeon Grand Prix type go-kart races and stuff that he talked about on our episode like a year or so ago. And that stuff is just wacky and fun as heck. It's all out there on that episode. We talk about that series of his work, and this is one of those. It has on the back copy is like, it's not a race, it's an adventure. So there's a whole race, but there's a bestiary. It's like 100 pages long. It's 50 pages of adventure, and then there's monsters and magic items and go-kart stats and all the stuff. Obviously, yeah, it's terrific. So obviously, if you want something really different, I guarantee. You know what? I think I can basically guarantee you that you'll see something in there. No matter where you've come from or what games you've played, you can pick up one of Sean's things and see something you've never seen before. I don't really care who you are or what games you play. He's just pretty original. There's also At the Mutants of Madness for Mutant Crawl Classics RPG 7th level by Mr. Forrest Aguirre. And that's got a very, as you guessed from the title, very Lovecraftian kind of theme. And then we dug it out. While the Gods Laugh, the 10th level funnel by Mr. Mark Bruner from Paul Wolf's Damn magazine in autumn 2017. So, okay, that's a pretty good list, actually. That's about 10, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's somebody talking about in the chat a Bear God 6th level third party.
The Stella Condry. It was one of the first things that Space Penguin made, and Stella and Jared were on Spellburn with us. I had forgotten this 6th level, but that sounds familiar.
What was the name of it?
It's the some
It's like the
prison.
Den of the Bear God or
Yeah.
prison. I think you're right.
It might. I want to say, but then I'm like imprisoned in the God Skull. I'm not sure. Prison of the Forsaken Bear God.
There we
which
go.
is a 6-level adventure by Stella Condry, and that's Space Penguin. And Space Penguin is also the publisher of Forests at Mutants of Madness.
Mm-hmm.
I had totally forgot that.
There
6th
we
level.
go.
Well, somebody on the chat really knows their stuff. So should we just give everybody an amulet of Cedricon tonight? I mean,
everybody, give them all one.
Yeah, everybody. You get an amulet of Cedricon. You get an amulet of Cedricon. Okay.
And if you bring it back to us, like during Dungeon Con, we'll sign them for you.
Mm-hmm.
You got it. So what?
One more. Somebody up on the chats. Curse of Mistwood by David Fisher. Maybe it's Daniel Bishop and David Fisher. I'm not sure who the writer is, but that's a 4th to 6th, kind of a big adventure path.
The 4th to these things that kind of edge in at 6th or like. I mean, I think I'd let you in with an asterisk, but I don't know. Anyway, okay, fair enough. I think because
you're tough tonight, man.
I am tough, man. Because
we
like
fifth
you
level,
got to be tough with these high level PCs. You got to be tough. You let them get away with too much. And
now I have a question for you, Stefan, because it sounds like, have you played all these like as part of the research or?
I mean, I've run Colossus a couple of times. I've run Sinister Sutures a couple of times. I think I've done a healthy bit of reading through them all. I've of course play tested 10th level, the 10th Doomstar as well. And I long ago ran a campaign that got up to 6th level, and it kind of became the villains. And so I was like, this is a good stopping point. I don't know where to go with you guys are turning into a super villains now. I don't know what to do with this.
I mean, quite frankly, you've got DCC 100, right? Music of the Spheres is Chaos. It's really tough and challenging, but it's technically only 5th level.
Oh yeah.
Correct.
I don't buy it. I think 5th level can be challenging, just as challenging as 8th, 9th, 10th. It just depends on how.
Well, everyone's number goes up at 10th level. We're it can be just as challenging at level 1 versus level 10. You're just getting different types of challenges.
So let's talk about how. First of all, let's talk about how these games are. These adventures are different, if they are, and maybe we will think they are or not. And then let's talk about, hey, forget that. What if you're just going to run one? What do you want to do? How do you want to prepare? What's different about running one? Because hopefully people are going to listen to this and say, I think I would like to try one of those, which you should, by the way. So, how are they different, right? We've all read lots of Harley adventures, which are mostly pretty freaking good. But how would we say, maybe you're a good one, Stefan, to start. How is Colossus Arise different than
like Doom of the Savage Kings?
Doom of the Savage Kings, or Sailors on the Starless Sea and so forth, right? By the way, Tower of Faces is not on our list, and that's 6th level.
Yeah, even though I even got that next. Zoom's gonna delete it from, but yeah, I got the next to me. Yeah, Tower. What is this? Yes,
and that was like a DC. That was a Goodman Games one, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct. Yeah.
Tower of Faces.
Yeah, it was a Rodney Design Award winner back in the day, and Goodman made into a thing. So
okay, Stefan.
Yeah, I mean, you can't, instead of doing like your village has a problem, which is a wonderful trope for a low level adventure, you're doing like your country or your planet has a problem. Often, I mean, some of the things is kind of the same techniques you'll use in low level adventures. If you're like trying to make one up, like put some pressure on them, like make have a clock of some sort, whether or how, you can express it differently in the actual adventure. But hey, in Colossus Rise, if you present that issue in the campaign world and your players go, no, we don't want to do that, then 100-foot tall headless giant is going to start smashing through the country, and there's probably no one else that can kill it or do anything about it, even if you can kill it. And it has some wonderful stats of just roll a d14. This is the attack it does where it kills like a significant portion of a battalion because it rolled that result on a special d14 table. That's the kind of stuff it does. Yeah, and you kind of have to, like, you can, I think it's interesting to look at also lower level adventures and go, this one I could bump all the numbers up, make, and make it into a high level adventure. I don't think you could quite do that with Doom of the Savage Kings, but like you could with the Star Wound of Abaddon, because it's on a weird demi plane and there's stuff to prevent your players from just flying around, which like you have to worry about those, like, well, they can't just fly around at first level, but they sure can at 8th level.
Right.
Like Colossus Arise has a lot of things that are like, yeah, there's 200 giants over there. You're not supposed to fight them. That's a puzzle that you're supposed to think around. Fighting them would be the punishment or just the consequence of really stupid players. So like there's a lot of puzzles disguised as a massive amount of enemies. You'll see that in high level stuff too.
I invited our players in the 10th Doomstar to kill hundreds of those of our mooks because I thought that would be pretty funny. But anyway,
oh yes,
I don't know that
but,
that's tactically it's not necessarily a really productive idea, but you are probably going to be able to do it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, there's a reason we removed Choking Cloud from the pre-gen spells, because a max level Choking Cloud just solves hundreds of problems a minute.
That's also
it's
very
like
true.
a chemical plant to exploding.
Oh man.
But in the sinister
now,
sutures of the Sempstress, that might not be so true. In a confined space, that might have a lot of issues.
Like high level earthquakes can be certainly like, oh, that's the end of that.
It happened last time I ran Colossus Arise. Someone did a really high level whatever the cleric spell is. I can't remember off the top of my head, but yeah.
Is it an earthquake? I think it's earthquake.
Or something. Yeah. But yeah, there's an earthquake. It solved a lot of problems really quick.
There is a question in the chat about, or a comment rather, saying that it's good to start them in media res, which then takes away the possibility of that high level prep, like the spells that actually take a while to cast and everything. Do you feel like that nerfs the players?
No, it's a technique. Absolutely. Put them face to face with a lot of bad things, and they have to think on their feet right away. No, like, oh, we'll cast a little this and a little that, and I'll get a high level that, then we'll go do our adventure. It's like, no.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that is a great idea from an adventure design perspective to, throw them into something. They're obviously plenty powerful anyway. So if they haven't, if they're going to be like, well, I want to tap back my 3-day ritual casting of summon animal, like, nah.
That's what the time pressure in your adventure is for.
Right. Well, I mean, and I will say I just ran the Infernal Crucible of Sezercon the Mad, and back to your point, Stefan, 4 of them met unpleasant ends, but not because they died in the adventure combat or whatever. It was because the clock ran out on them. So there are puzzle conditions that are obviously fatal or lead to unpleasant things that are not, that aren't bags of numbers that can be defeated with fireballs and so on.
And I could add that at least part of Castle White Rock is going to be at least 7th level.
Yeah.
I think my pre-gen was 7th or 8th for the one I played in a playtest of at GaryCon last year. And you do need players who are expecting to play a higher level game and think beyond just the first action. And I think that was possibly one of the most challenging parts about being at the table, because everybody just kind of one and done. Okay, well, you have another action. What are you doing?
How
And
about did somebody run the 998th conclave?
Yep.
Tell us about that. Now that's very open-ended and there's a lot of like modular, like there's a
Mhm.
wizard's
oh
tower
yeah,
generator in that, right?
Yeah, and I didn't run it like exactly as written, because you got to think on your feet a little bit when you're running this high level stuff because you're gonna get curveballs thrown your way. Um, but yeah, that one also succeeds at being high level because it's on this weird space wizard city, so that they have like their own laws. If you don't follow them, you get put into a cube for a number of years, and people can buy your cube, and then you are like magically forced to be their servant until your years run out. So there's
Mm-hmm.
you can't just go, and it's a mystery. You're trying to solve, a murder basically, and there's some other things going on. But yeah, so there's time pressure. It's not just about casting fireball. You're trying to solve, to like uncover information, and you have these weird societal pressures and laws that you also are constricted by.
But if I remember right, even the actual answer of the mystery itself is kind of an open-ended thing.
Yeah.
So I'd say it's actually, of course, by Judge Job, our old original Judge Jay on Spellburn. And it's a very interesting adventure. I'd say even if you are not sure you would run it for 6th level or whatever, I would say anybody, any GM or any writer would benefit from taking a peek at that. There's a lot of really cool ideas. It has a very Vancian flavor too. Um,
yes.
so
I think the DCC historians or would be historians should look at it because it's got some like proto Lankmar rules for like running city stuff. I don't know. That's how I think of it as, but so it's really
It's
interesting to look at.
it's kind of proto Dying Earth too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see getting cubed as a punishment for your dying Earth crimes for sure.
Oh yeah, no, it's it's got a whole council of wizards that run the city, and then it has a whole picture of each wizard, in there, like a little card with the picture and the stats for the wizard or something. It's very cool. I hadn't looked at it in quite a bit until I was doing the prep for this show, and I forgot how there's a lot of very cool stuff in there. So I think one of the most unique adventures, even in DCC, where there's a lot of crazy stuff, that really stands out as being its own thing. How else? So I think to start people in media res is good. You've got to deal with the earthquakes and so on. Although Spellburn can mess you up even at 1st level, right? I mean,
Yeah.
what else do you have to do just from an adventure design perspective?
I mean, try to not complicate things for the judge with like enormous stat blocks. That's true in any system, but it gets a little harder at high levels. So you have to think about how to, not make your enemies too complex because you're going to be juggling more than you're probably used to when running combats.
Agree. I would say specifically will saves, because it just takes one high level critter or maybe a bunch of high level critters to all make their saves against, or all fail their saves against a really high level spellburned charm person. And suddenly that wizard or elf or whatever has a whole army of 10 hit die dragon men or whatever. I mean, that could be a real problem in Colossus Arise too, if the wizard was just like, I'm casting, I'm gonna boost.
Polymorph.
Well, I'm doing a level result 32 charm person on this 200 giant guys, and
Yeah.
I mean, or 20 of them at least. And anyway,
I'm so sorry if I bounced that, Elena. Stupid Zoom. I raised my hand and the whole thing bounced. I have a question for our guest. Stefan, do you include pre-gens
Yes,
with
yeah.
this.
The
Okay.
10th Doomstar is
So-
going to have pre-gens for sure.
So how worn down are they? Like to
they
play the Maestro card, they should be beaten down. They should have hardly any luck left. They
No.
they're not being down, but we say like, but you don't. None of the pre-gens are clerics, and it's like, and you don't have any retainers. Your clerics and your retainers, they all died along the way. I mean, they're not like the highest luck guys, but we're not like starting the halfling or the thief at 7 out of their 14 max luck or something. So we balanced in the other direction instead of like hurting them so that players could have that opportunity to do some crazy things.
And I will say, I think that was a really good choice to do the pre-gens. It makes it much easier to run, and we also included magic items for them and tried to give them a sort of fun. Some of them are a little goofy, being me.
What about like corruption and things like that?
You know, it's a
Julian didn't include them. I've made sure there's corruption on there. Don't you worry.
Okay, that's good. I don't worry about it too much because all my wizards have discovered you can burn a point of luck and avoid a corruption in the rules, and I probably
so
shouldn't.
they should
allow
have
it.
maybe 4 luck left.
Ooh.
See,
wow.
my I'm one of those hosts on rules as written. That's why I got my Sharpie and took that part out of my book. So it's
All
rules
right.
as written in my book.
You could just
that
be
they
like,
can't do
oh,
that.
yeah,
They can't.
right.
Corruption's too fun.
I think it's really good to give pre-gens to the GM though, because the judge rather, because it's one less thing for them to worry about. They can study up on the pre-gens long before they hand them out. They don't have to generate them. They come with magic items. And I think of all these games, and anybody can correct me, of course, because some of these are popping out that we didn't have on the list. But out of all of them, the other one that had pre-gens was Smuggler's Pass. They have pre-gens in the back of that adventure as well. So, but I will say clerics at 10th level with Bless and halfling luck on a cleric's Bless at 10th. I mean,
so in theory, if you're starting them and media res, they've already suffered disapproval to some point, and they've lost access to 1 spell. I mean,
yeah. I mean, that's what Harley did to us in that 7th. That was a 7th level game that we did over the holidays or whatever. But I didn't want to do that here. I wanted these guys to start off pretty flush. I mean, how many times are you going to play a 10th level character? I don't want to nerf you right off the bat. I think it's a legit way to do it, but
I'll also say when they have the multiple action dice, and at 10th level, some of them have 3 action dice.
Oh yeah,
that means they've got a higher chance to crit just because they're on it. They also have a way higher chance to fumble. Like that, you see so many more crits and fumbles, and especially with the wizards think they're so hot at the beginning of the game, and then they start fumbling and they get some. I mean, they get some good hits in. I'm not saying they don't, but yeah, they get afraid of casting more than 1 spell. You see it in the players as the game goes on. They feel like they're pushing their luck by the end of it.
And now on the casting, how strict are you as far as, well, this takes 1 action or this takes 1 round?
Or 1 point of spell burn. Like that seems to be something that often gets kind of dropped off the kind of tables. It's like, even to cast this has to have an ante.
Yeah, that's something you got to remember. That helps rein in the spellcasters a whole lot. And I try to be good, but
the only problem with that is that that we all know it. We've all run so many low level adventures. We know that's the case for Chill Touch, but if the 3rd level equivalent, if it's Speak with Dead has the same rule or whatever, we don't know it because we don't see that spell as much. So it's some of that stuff gets maybe a little harder to keep track of. But then,
as doing it as a 10th level one shot, though, you also like the spellcasters. If they had played all the way up, they would know those spells so well. But they're all a little fresh, the higher level ones. So they're honestly not being peak tacticians either.
True.
So there's
Yeah.
mistakes on both sides of the table.
That's true.
That's
the other thing
that's
to-
a good way to put it.
Yeah. The easier one to spot is like when the spell is like, wait a sec, that sounds like that might be a one turn casting. You don't have 10 minutes right now. That's a little easier to remember than the one round, one action. But yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
very-
demon summoning's one turn.
Yeah, most of the summoning spells I've learned to catch those.
Right. And some require either names or components or things of that nature. Yeah, very good. What any other design thing? Anything? I mean, Tower of Faces is really interesting because it feels to me like it could easily be a much lower level adventure. Not to say it's, but because you're basically guarding a wizard's tower and things are happening and deliveries are coming in, and it's really fun. And I'm a big fan of things that are change up the formula of exploration and dungeon crawling and that kind of stuff. There's a lot going on, and I'm not dissing it in the slightest, but I mean, you could just as easily be a bunch of first level characters who get pulled into guarding a first level tower as being a bunch of third, fifth, or 10th or whatever, in theory.
But Tower of Faces like specifically takes place over a course of several days, so you kind of have some attrition. They can't go wild with the Spellburn because they know they got to stay around for a while.
Correct.
Oh, how many? Like, I guess you've played it a bunch, but so what was it like when they rolled a critical on a spell check?
Oh, it's nasty.
Oh, you double your
Because that's
double
like
your
40.
level.
It's like 40 right there.
You just basically assume that it's the max level.
Well, and
I think
of
it
course
always
the higher
is.
level spells have a higher results, but even then,
I don't think any of them go above 38, do they?
I don't think no.
Well, higher
it's
than
also
32, but yeah,
sometimes it's more than they
brutal.
want. Like they're reading it
Right.
and they're going,
They're
"Oh
like,
no,
right?
it's a 200-foot radius, and
Oh, that-
I'm in it, and so
Yeah.
are all of us."
Those highest level
yeah.
results are
Whoopsie.
not. They're very dramatic, and they're not always super friendly.
I think I remember playing the Fey Harder, which was, and then somebody rolled like the highest result on one of the gods, and it was like it took him out. It like killed the caster. He did a patron, invoked patron, and he was like, "It comes down, smash, you're dead."
Hey, I mean that could easily happen, and that is really, that is something both in terms of running the game and in terms of writing the game. I mean, you're just gonna get those highest level results. You just got to roll with it, and you're gonna have to improv. It's not, there's no quantum bugbear squeamishness. I think when you get to 10th level, you're just gonna have to improvise, which is maybe what led Judge Job to be very open-ended in the Conclave adventure, right? Because there's only so much you can really control and corral guys when they get to be high level. They're gonna do craziness. Period.
And it's a pretty high word count too. Let's just say that.
Yeah, well,
compared to most.
That adventure is a high word count and has awesome visuals, so many maps and handouts and just cool art. And I'm like, I don't think anybody's gonna give me that kind of art budget these days. Unfortunately, but I would love to get it. I'd be calling up Doug. Doug, here's what you. Okay, that'd be an interesting conversation. Anyway.
No, I'll say of a wild thing that happened in one of the playtests for 10th Doomstar. The wizard, took a turn to the wrong side at the end, shall we say? But not everyone else at the table knew that. The wizard enlarged the dwarf, got like not max result, but really high. We had like a 60-foot tall dwarf or something for a little bit there. And then the next round, he max level cast Transference and obliterated the dwarf's soul and stole his body. So, things happen.
And first level characters are not going to do that. Well, I will say this adventure kind of evolved from basically like a 2-team kind of tournament adventure originally, and which when I ran at Gen Con the first year, and it still got strains of that. I made it a little more of a conventional, okay, well, you're one party, but there's like a lawful group of characters and a neutral group of characters, and they're kind of going up against the chaos. And let's just say stuff can happen. There's intrigue. I think a table can play it very straight and collaborative, but a table can also
It can be
get
more
it could get
contentious.
and it could be very collaborative and get really punchy in the last 5 minutes too.
Yeah.
So, um,
So wait a minute. I don't think it was talked about. There's two different factions set up against chaos, the neutral and
Yeah,
lawful.
there's
And
three
are you
neutral
playing
and
them
two
at the same
lawful.
time, or are there two different tables, or like?
oh no, they're together. So
Okay.
you've got like, the warrior and the dwarf are on two different teams, the wizard and the elf are on two different teams, and the halfling and the thief are on two different teams.
Mhm.
So, yeah, so there's a little bit of a counterpart in terms of a stealth guy and a fighter person and a spellcaster.
Do you think it would be fair to like do it on different tables or like different groups, or like
No,
have them?
they're together in the. I mean, they're
But
in
could
the
you set
same.
it up that way, like have them kind of adversarial?
I think we start one guy on the one team on the west and one team on the east, and you'll
Yeah.
meet in the middle at some
Yeah,
point.
you
could
can. I
totally
mean,
do it.
there's no reason you couldn't start them on opposite ends of the temple and have them merge up. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. You'd have to figure out. You'd have to like, um, you'd only have three if you kind of as written. You'd only have three guys in each of your parties, but that's not necessarily a huge problem given the level they're at and stuff like
The
that.
biggest difficulty would be one judge would have to walk over to the other table and be like, all the 400 frogmen that are outside, there's just a blanket of ice right now.
Right.
So they're gone. So
Yeah.
things would, there'd be a lot changing between tables.
The funny thing is, without making any changes to any mechanical thing, alignments, or anything, that would go so PvP so fast.
Yeah.
I can already just imagine, like, people are looking across the room at these guys, like, oh, it would, in a way that if you're at the same table, you're like, well, you're both going against chaos, then they'll play it pretty straight, up until the end. So
And Aerith falls to the comet, and everyone's
Yeah.
frustrated.
yeah, pretty
Dies.
much.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Julian, I have a major question for you. What did you have in mind for the level 10th spell?
Or the level
Sixth level spell.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Your 6th level spell.
It is. Do you have the name of that spell, Stefan?
Let me find. It's like Arcanogenesis. It's basically a ritual spell to remake part of the world at lower levels, and then like wide swaths of a planet at higher spell results. Into
Like shooting
whatever the
Spock
caster
at the
wants.
planet and creating a new planet.
It
was
is
like-
specifically inspired by that. It is specifically inspired
Okay.
by the Genesis device in Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
It was like that was the end
Wow.
of that was the end of the second one, or the beginning of the third one they shot.
Well, okay, yeah, but
Yes.
yeah, no, it's
Oh my
yeah.
god, that's nuts.
Okay,
Yeah.
so congratulations, guys, on successfully funding. We've just closed on that project for the 10th
Yes.
Doomstar. That's amazing. I'm super happy for you guys. But we were a little bit shy for that level 6
Some
spell.
joker
Is there-
already wrote the spell.
Is there any way that we could throw it in?
Yeah, it's gonna happen. We're gonna throw it in anyway. I was a little
Yeah.
cheeky and not saying that to everyone,
Yeah.
but yes,
So you
yeah.
heard it here.
It's already written. Like, why would I just hold it back? That seems petty.
Our
Just put it
pal-
in the Gone Farmer.
No, Stefan. I guess we could be persuaded to put this thing, make this dude write it and
Jen,
put it
for
in.
you,
Wow.
for you. Yeah, I'll do it.
Our friend Matt Tull,
For Bricky.
who's got a good year or two under his belt, and he's been running DCC at Gen Con and Gary Con and stuff in years past. He it wrote that spell up for us, and it's a ton of fun. It's completely nuts. And Matt
Nice.
is one of our best local judges. Runs a ton of MCC, but also DCC and other craziness. And huge character, just a big heart and a larger than life person. Has had a really tough month or so. but he is just a great individual. So it was really cool that he's been able to do this with us, and we get to publish that. So Matt, if you're listening, we got a bunch of
Congrats.
edits. We got a bunch of edits. We're coming at you. Anyway,
Wait,
so
so someone's asking in the chat, last name of Matt?
Toll, T-O-L. Oh, sorry,
Towle.
Towle, I believe.
Yeah.
Howell?
Yeah, I can never
Okay.
remember exactly how does. I think it's tall or some. Yeah,
Oh, I've seen that
Towle.
name.
And
Yeah.
as a quick note to the people in the chat, I see you talking about late pledges. Even if quote unquote late pledges are not allowed through that particular backer kit, you can usually contact the creator and they can get you in on the pledge level side. It's a little
I
extra
haven't set
work,
up the
but
pledge manager thing,
yeah.
but yeah,
Yep.
it'll be there for a while. This is going to be a quick turnaround, though.
When do you expect it to debut?
I'll send a PDF out to people in a couple of weeks. I'll give them about a week to hunt for typos, and then I'll do the print order. Like we're wrapped up in layout and everything, so it I don't know.
So we
Realistically,
should have the print
How many
before
pages?
Origins easy.
yeah. I mean, it'll probably be out to backers in about April or something. So
Wow.
so
Nice.
yeah.
How many pages? Like, what's the format of the cover? Is it hard, like the hardbound, like you just did?
It's just like one of these nice floppy modules. I
Okay.
think it's 28 pages with the pre-gens.
Okay.
You know,
Saddle
sure,
stapled.
it could, yes, it could be
Okay.
longer, but man, it's written to be a one shot. We don't want to make it too long, you know, too many words to read. But Julian did an amazing job with it.
Very nice. Hey, looking forward to it, guys.
Yeah, it's very cool. Any other hits? We covered a lot of stuff. We got some cool things in the chat. I think we covered kind of running games, and Stefan was very good to help us out. He's an inexhaustible source of reviews on his Dragon Peak newsletter. So for sure you should go out and subscribe to that, because I'm learning stuff every week when I'm reviewing those and talking to DCC guys, but even beyond that sometimes. And anything else we want to hit up before we take her out of here? We got to put our YouTube goddess to bed here at some point.
We're getting late.
Yeah.
Well, March Madness.
March Madness coming soon. We're going to start pinging the socials with all the bracket information. So that's coming up soon. And I'm going to start taking us out. So, hey, before we sign off, if you've got a crowdsourcing thing you want us to plug, or a Spellburn topic you'd like on the show, or a guest that you'd like to hear us quiz, or some other rando question, then send us a freaking email at spellburnband@gmail.com. Email us often and early there with your questions and your feedback and suggestions. We are on YouTube. We may be shifting more to a posting episodes on YouTube versus live, so we'll figure that out, but we're still on YouTube at Goodman Games. So check us out there with Raw and plenty of other great content. Mega thanks to Glitter Wizard Loot the Body and St. Karloff for permission to use their music. And thanks as always to our patron AI Judge Jim for hosting and maintenance on the Spellburn site, where we post our show notes and all our helpful links, especially of our crowdfunds. And then also Judge Bob for all the help with editing and bumpers and so on. Judge Bob the voice, we appreciate you. If you're listening and you find issues, let us know at spellburnband@gmail.com. We'll bring this out to spellburn.com soon, and other podcast channels near you. And that's kind of it. Any last parting words, Judge Stefan?
No. You know, keep rolling dice, keep being kind to each other, folks.
Very nice, Judge Jen.
Thanks to Judge Stefan for coming on the show with us tonight, and congratulations to you both.
Thank you.
Thank you. Judge James?
Gonna miss you all, chat. You're not gonna be around probably in the next episodes, as this is, as you were saying, probably the last time we'll be live. So I will miss the chat very much.
You never know, but yeah, that would be will miss the chat. On the other hand, just a really good reason to email us at spellburnband@gmail.com. I'm Judge Julian. Thanks for being with us. Game on.